Hey everyone, this is a what I eat in a weekend video. You guys really seem to like the last one, so here's another one. It's a realistic starch-based weekend. I'm 100% vegan, whole food plant-based. Here we go. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my plant-based inspiration. One of you had requested that I make coffee and show y'all how that I do it since I use instant coffee. So first I'm just putting some water in my coffee maker and gonna let it filter through. And so I just let the hot water flow through in my coffee maker. So that's it. So while that's happening, I'm gonna make some lemon water first. I've been back to drinking lemon water first thing in the morning. Now on a weekend, it's a little different because when I wake up on the morning, on a weekend, I get to sleep in, a little bit as much as Berkeley will allow for the most part. But during the week, it's different because I can get in the car, I can drink some lemon water, get in the car, and then go. And then when I get to work, have some coffee or eat something and have lemon water first. So that way I'm not putting just coffee in my body first thing. I've been trying to do that lately. But I say all that to say it's the weekend. So I'm going to drink this lemon water. And then right afterwards, I'm going to drink some coffee. And so, yeah, just a full mason jar, a full lemon, and some alkaline water. And then I'm going to, as I'm drinking that, make Berkeley's breakfast. And while my water is dripping over there for my coffee, and I'll show you that in just a minute, our friends at Forager Project sent us this lovely oat milk as well as some cashew milk. And so Berkeley has been getting to enjoy those. I don't use those plant milks. One of them has oil, one does not. The cashew milk is oil-free, and the oat milk is not. All oat milk everywhere seems to have oil, except for a select few that tend to be much more expensive, except for Joy oat milk powder, which I'll leave a discount code below, which is what I like to provide for Berkeley. But since our friends just sent us these to try out with our yogurt, we were just going to try them out. So I am making some Earth Champ chocolate oatmeal for Berkeley, and it's going to be mixed in with some old-fashioned oats. And so all I do is just put some oats in a bowl and then it shows I'm doing multiple scoops here, but I didn't make a full scoop because the bag was low. So it's actually really a scoop and a half that I put in there. Some flax seeds for Berkeley, my 3-year-old, to have some extra healthy fats in her oatmeal. And you saw I added the Forager Project milk and I'm just mixing it together. And it's going to be great. It was really, really creamy looking. And so I'll let it sit there for a minute and just kind of let the oats thicken up a little. And I am going to put a fruit that is high in vitamin C on the plate for her. I had some cut up watermelon already. And so here's our Earth Champ chocolate oats. They are so good, and I will link a code below for them as well so you can try them out. We love Earth Champ. They're super planet friendly and they taste so good. There's nothing like them. So back to the coffee. So I'm going to do, this cup is bigger as you see, and so for every cup I do 2 teaspoons of the organic instant coffee that I use. And what I'll do is, so that's probably close to 2 cups because it's a taller cup. And so I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And I do like my coffee stronger. I don't want it to be watered down. And so I took the water and I filled it up to about the spot that I knew if I added some milk that it would be not overflowing, or at least I tried my best. And so I'm adding soy milk. Again, I use soy milk for baking purposes and I use it for my coffee. So that way I'm not just going through it. The Joy oat milk powder I will use for Berkeley because I want the best for her. And I'll just use soy milk because I like how it tastes in my coffee. And then that way when I'm baking, it doesn't, I don't go through all the Joy oat milk powder. And so I am mixing this up. I added a little bit of maple syrup. Now I totally will do it without maple syrup. See, I still got it too high. I like to add maple syrup. I don't have to add maple syrup, but I prefer it with it because it gives it a nice little sweetness. So yeah, and I just mix it together. Just eyeball the maple syrup and add enough plant milk towards the top of the cup. But yeah, just two teaspoons of the organic coffee per cup. And this is what's it called? I can't even think. The instant coffee. And now I have my bag of Japanese sweet potatoes, and I'm going to gently cut the ends off and just poke some holes because I'm going to put these in the oven. So I've got some of these. It is so convenient when you have sweet potatoes of any kind that you bake ahead of time and batch cook. Then like you get hungry, or you say you get home and you've like been doing this, that, or the other. If you have some of these on hand, you can just grab a freaking sweet potato and start eating it. And it's the most convenient thing. It's so convenient because first of all, it's a whole and complete food outside of B12 and vitamin D3. It's got everything you need outside of those supplements. And yeah, it's amazing. Like, just grab a sweet potato and start eating it. And so I'm going to bake those for an hour at 400. And now I'm eating some watermelon. Berkeley is in the bathtub and she's eating some fruit tub side as well. I made some oatmeal and I'm eating it in here because I'm in here with her. This is the same style of oats that I made for her, except I'm using soy milk and I didn't put any flaxseed in it. And here brings me to my point that I made earlier. I'm in the car riding. What did I do? I grabbed a Japanese sweet potato, wrapped it in a towel so I had it, and shoved it in my purse. So now I've got it in the car. And now we're back home and I'm eating half of a cantaloupe. Normally I save my melons for later in the evening, but I just couldn't resist. It's a Saturday and here I'm home. If I see fruit, I'm just most of the time going to eat it. And I'm making some pasta with my homemade cheese sauce, as well as some green beans. So I get all the veggies in. Now, I was out of apple cider vinegar and rice vinegar, so I actually used a balsamic vinegar. I know that it's different, but it's a form of vinegar, so I thought, why not? And it still tasted just fine. I'm using a little bit of the Yellowbird habanero sauce, just a little bit. It adds a little kick. I don't add much, probably a tablespoon, and mix it in. It adds a little bit of orange color too. And then once my noodles were done, I drained those, and those are whole wheat noodles, and I steamed my green beans in the microwave, added them all together, and that's 2 servings of my sauce made from beans and nutritional yeast, and I'll link the recipe below so you can try it out. It's an everything sauce. It goes well on so many things. You can dip your potato wedges in it. All you need in this lifestyle, you've got your starch, you've got your veggies, and then you make a sauce. If you need a sauce, sometimes you don't, but like if you want a little sauce, make a sauce, and that's what it is. And so I'm just eating. Berkeley is playing on her playground right outside. I've got the door open and I'm sitting here at the table eating my little creation of pasta. It's similar to when I make hummus pasta, except I'm not using hummus. I'm obviously using my cheese sauce that I made, and it was really good. And so I'm eating another half of a melon. It's because I'm home, and so I'm like, there's melons everywhere. I have to eat one. I actually had a yoga photo shoot later in the day for some upcoming events that I'm going to be doing, and so I had to have some marketing material. So this was so fun. This is a place that I go to and teach goat yoga classes from time to time for women, and it's a really lovely place. Berkeley got to play, and we took some fun photos. I had my sage, my yoga mat, my feather, and I'm super excited to see the new photos. We had a beautiful sunset and even some moon shots, and I'm just doing all the fun poses. And you have to see my outfit. I got it at Earthbound. That's my favorite hippie store in the mall, and I just wanted you to see it. Here we are again. It is time to eat a little something, something. So I've got this already pre-baked Japanese sweet potato, and it's just gonna taste so good, and I'm gonna have it it's already ready for me, so I don't have to worry about doing anything. It's the next day now it's Sunday. Berkeley is eating some more of our lovely Forager project little kids yogurt pouches. She loves them so much. I have to hide them from her or she will just eat them all up, and so I hid them in a bag, and then she's like, where did they go? They're gone. Like, 'cause she'll just keep eating them and eating them. I'll link below all the places you can find Forager Project at below. And here are some golden potatoes. So I'm going to be making some potato wedges. Now I'm going to use golden potatoes because since they'll be oil-free, I want to make sure there's a little bit more moisture, which is what we're going to need since we're not using oil. So I have cut the gold potatoes once long ways and then again. And then later on, I'm actually going to cut them a third time. But I don't know that right now while I'm doing it because it's been a while since I had made since I made wedges from golden potatoes. And so what I like to do is get some veggie broth after I have made all the potato wedge slices, and of course it's oil-free veggie broth, and I'll get a big Tupperware container, put all the wedges in there that I have cut up, and I'll take the veggie broth and just pour it all over it. You don't have to use all of it, just enough to cover, because we're going to end up adding some seasonings and just shaking that up. Make sure the lid is on really well, because my lid was not on all the way apparently, and stuff was leaking, and I don't know how that happened. So I'm adding veggie broth, and then I've got some different seasonings I'm going to add. And I'm not following a recipe here. I'm just intuitively using the spices that I know are my favorite and that I know from past experience taste well on potato wedges, like some smoked paprika. Generally, I mean, it would be paprika, but there's smoked paprika is fine, and it's what I had. Some onion powder. I would have used garlic, but I ran out. I've been looking near and far in the cabinet because I swore I had some. And a little bit of oregano. That's my favorite seasoning. I love oregano. Added some black pepper, and I'm going to be adding a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. Not too much, just enough. And like I said, I put the lid on top, and now I'm shaking it. And I think at this point I've already spilled. Yeah, because then I put the lid back on. And yeah, so it's just like a little marinade, and you could probably keep it in here for a little bit. I wouldn't suggest putting them in the fridge overnight, because I did that before and they like turned a dark color. It was kind of weird, and I was like, are these still good? And they were, but it was still really weird because they turned dark. So now I'm going to mix the wedges all together in the broth and the seasoning, and I've got my pan. And yes, many will say you should line the pan with parchment paper, but if you followed me for a while, you know that in the weirdest ways I can be frugal, and I just have not bought parchment paper. And some of you will probably tell me that I'm doing something that's bad for my health because of the metal, and yes, I'm with that, because I'm all with that. But this is just laziness. So I'm gonna, just make my potato wedges and we'll roll with it. So I am putting these all on my unlined cooking sheet. The other day I read something that said cooking sheet, and it was like, I've been calling it a cookie sheet for years. Well, so have I. I didn't know it was called a cooking sheet. I thought it was called a cookie sheet. Like, I don't know. So I'm saying baking sheet apparently. So I've got my tongs. I'm spreading them all out on there, and I've actually taken them out because they've stayed in there for 15 minutes. And then the trick is take them out halfway through, or not the trick, it's just what you do. You take it out halfway through, flip them to the other side. Now, what I had done here, because it'd been a while since I had made these, and I was going off of memory, I put the oven to 350 and did 15 minutes each side. Ended up being not baked enough, or they were not, let's just say they needed more time. So I ate a few, and I had them all in this really pretty platter, and I'm like, oh, it just looks so beautiful. I want to keep eating them. But then like the smaller ones were okay, but the bigger ones, no, they needed to be cooked through. So what I did is I ended up raising the temperature to 400 and taking some of the wedges that was like the real fat ones or thick ones and sliced them again. So then I had like small baby wedges and added them in there I did like another like 15 minutes. And they turned out just fine after that. So I've been taking these Suja digestion shots. I love to take the wellness shots. Anything that's got the ginger, the live probiotics, the turmeric, I'm all about it. Especially since the seasons are getting ready to change. I can feel like some nasally things going on with me. And so I want to prevent that and clear that out. It's just normal with the season changing. So there's some cauliflower and some bell pepper I've been wanting to cut up and use. So I've got all the pretty colors and my wedges and my homemade bean and cheese sauce. Again, I'll link it. And I've been snacking on this throughout the day. And so here I've got another beautiful platter. This is apple, and those are my pretty potato wedges. I posted those on my Instagram, and you guys went crazy for them. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go check me out, The Busy Vegan Mom. And once I got home, I had went to one place, and I had a banana, and I came back, and I had some leftover wedges that needed to be baked, and so I let those bake, and I got the temperature right this time. I had a half of a Japanese sweet potato. The other half I was going to have in the morning. Had a little bit of the cantaloupe. I ended up finishing it the next day, and I also had an apple. So this was my weekend. As you see, all whole food, plant-based. Oh, by the way, I had some mango sorbet, and I ate it Saturday night. Berkeley and I had ice cream. She had like dairy-free Ben & Jerry's, and I had plain mango sorbet. And I'm sorry I didn't get in video of it, but I did get that picture that's on the thumbnail, so you got to kind of see it. But thank you for being here. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like.